Coming up on Cardinals Insider.
When I was released, I believe it was 2010, I was ready to start coaching, and I've never had an itch to play again.
Get to know new Card skipper Oli Marmol. Plus, the typical STL is giving way to the Angry Bird. More on these historic hats. And later, there's nothing like the sound of a new season. We let the sounds of spring training wash over us. Those stories and more ahead on Cardinals Insider. Welcome to Cardinals Insider. I'm Ozzie Smith. Oli Marmol is a familiar face with a new role. And after spending 3 years as a bench coach, Oli is now the skipper. Let's get to know the 51st manager in club history.
Oli Marmol started out where his players did, trying to find his way through the minor leagues. But as his numbers eroded, he realized his ultimate calling within the game was in the dugout, not on the field.
When I was released, I believe it was 2010, I was ready to start coaching, and I've never had an itch to play again. I'm more passionate about leading and teaching than I am about playing. So for me, it was a very simple transition. I got released and immediately asked, is there a spot for me on the staff somewhere? And thankfully they called me about 3 or 4 days later and it made it happen.
That moment began a journey which took Oli from coaching minor leaguers here on the backfields in Jupiter to now being the manager of the St. Louis Cardinals in the dugout at Busch Stadium.
I think I carried myself in a way that led them to believe that I was able to lead, but I also asked a lot of questions when I was in the minor leagues. I surrounded myself with staff members. I was always curious as to why they did certain things, and it led them to trust me in that I was able to develop. They saw a path for me that was clear for me to continue to learn and lead.
At 35, Oli is the youngest manager in the big leagues. So in the minors, as he was coming up, he was frequently the youngest staff member in the room, even on teams he managed. But he had great people around him, both in the Cardinals organization and at home.
I met my wife when I was 16, got married when I was 21. And we made a commitment that we would do this together. She quit her job and we would travel together. One of the things we didn't want is to be apart for a length of time and just grow apart and kind of doing life separately. She would jump in her little Corolla and get behind the bus and drive to wherever we were going to. And there was times where it was an 8-hour drive and we'd get to Vermont at 4 a.m. in the morning and unload everything into the hotel. We'd stay there for 2 nights and then she'd pack up the car and go to the next city.
An unconventional life has led to a one-of-a-kind job. But it wasn't necessarily the goal when Oli was cut at 23.
We never set out to do this. Never a goal to be a big league manager. It was our goal to have influence, to be able to lead guys and see them succeed at the things they wanted to succeed in. So regardless of what level we were at or what position I held, it was more of a matter of allowing people to see what's possible for themselves and then helping them get there.
Now there's a bigger stage than ever to impact the people around them. For Cardinals Insider, I'm Brett McMillan.
Marmol managed in the Cards minor league system before joining the big league staff in 2017. That means that many of the current players have known Oli a long time. Here's what the guys are saying about his new job.
I think he's got a presence about him. He means business, and he's serious, and he expects to win, and he expects us all to want to win and do our job.
And Oli, he brings an intensity every day that it's contagious. You know, that winning attitude, that the culture we're trying to build here, he definitely instills that ability to go out there and compete and, you know, get the most out of yourself every day. He's bringing that intensity every day, and we're going out there doing our best to match it.
To feel his energy, you know, channeled like exactly in that direction where, you know, all of us in the lineup are. I mean, it's awesome, you know, because everybody wants to be firing on the same cylinders in the right direction.
You know, Oli's he's very goal-orientated. He obviously has high expectations for this group, as do we. And just the way he's running camp, he's really letting us get ready to the utmost efficiency, in my opinion. Really feels like a player's camp out here.
I just love it. I love the way this spring is going. You know, it's a very short one, obviously, because with the circumstances that have gone on, but Oli's just been really great. He has a lot of trust in us. He knows we're grown men and we got to take care of our business.
Oli just gives us the freedom to go out there and do our jobs. I mean, we're all professionals here. We know why we're here and what we have to do, and I just think we have a great staff from top to bottom that will give us individualized help that we need.
With a veteran team, with a great veteran core, I think we kind of police ourselves in the clubhouse and on the field, and I think Oli does a great job of making everybody feel comfortable, and he brings a winning attitude for sure.
Growing up in his coaching career in the same organization that he used to be a player in, and I think it's just, it's awesome. He's seen a lot of sides of himself. He's seen a lot of sides of this game. So to apply that level of experience to guys that he's either played with or been around for a long time, and I think it's really a perfect fit.
He's just such a great person, and not just a great baseball person. You know, when he talks to you, you can tell that he's engaged in what you're saying, and he's just a great guy, and he's, you know, great baseball mind.
And at the end of the day, he wants to win. You know, he has a composure to him and a composure about him where, you know, there's really no BS, which is exactly where we need to be as a club. I mean, we've had a lot of success, but just getting over that hump and really getting to the World Series, I mean, it's been a minute for sure. So he knows it, we all know it, and anything short of getting to the World Series and making some noise and ultimately winning that, everybody's focused on it.
I'm just excited to see how he runs the ball club over the regular season throughout the playoffs. Really enjoying his tenure so far.
I mean, he's really smart. He's been preparing to be a manager for a long time. I think we all knew he was going to get that opportunity, whether it was going to come this year with us or in the future or with another club. That was for sure going to happen. You know, excited for the opportunity he has, and I know he's going to lead us in the right direction.
Straight ahead on Cardinals Insider, take a look at these new hats with a historic logo. Also coming up,
so I rely heavily on a sinker.
We head to the bullpen with reliever TJ McFarland. It's time to take a look at this moment to remember. The Cardinals are showing off a different look as they train for the 2022 season. A hat featuring the club's Angry Bird logo adorns the preseason uniform. Here's more on its fashion and historical significance.
I think spring training is the perfect time to do something kind of fun and different and new. The players, they're always looking to mix it up. This is a case where I think getting a little more creative, a little more fun, they're going to enjoy.
The first time I saw it was on Instagram. I saw Tio come in and they blasted a little bit, and I thought it was pretty sweet.
I like it. It's aggressive. It's like a trucker style hat. I like that style hat.
But it's definitely growing on me, and I think you know, there's things we could do with it for sure.
As opposed to our normal logos, which are sort of trying to replicate what a bird would actually look like, but with simplified lines. This one actually has personality, and you can see it in the way his expression is in his face, and kind of that classic baseball pose, waiting to, you know, looking in for the sign or whatever. So in just one little cartoony figure, there really is a sense of kind of an actual baseball vibe in what he's doing.
The mesh on the back's a little different too, so you know, I don't know if they'll keep riding with it or what. It's a little breathable. I don't know if that's a performance tech wear or what it is, but the logo itself I really enjoy.
He's just trying to do something a little different, a little fun, in a context that's kind of semi-official, but allows for some additional experimentation.
Straight ahead,
I throw my sinker, which is basically a two-seam fastball.
TJ McFarland talks pitching in our new segment, Baseball Basics. TJ McFarland joined the Cardinals for the second half last year, and the sinker baller made an impact coming out of the pen. You might hear about the sinker on TV, but is the pitch as straightforward as its name implies? TJ explains in a new segment we call Baseball Basics.
Welcome to Baseball Basics. I'm Emily Stevens, and joining me is lefty reliever TJ McFarland. Well, TJ, I think the last time we talked, we were in St. Louis, so you were just getting used to the city. Here we are in Jupiter, Florida at spring training. So first, just tell me what it was like for you, as your first season as a Cardinal.
It was amazing. For St. Louis to give me the opportunity that they did, and then me to have success, and the team to have success, it was surreal, really.
Out there, back to first, what else? What else with TJ McFarland? A ground ball and a double play.
Well, I guess first let's start out with, what do you throw the most?
So I rely heavily on a sinker. I'm a low 3/4 slot, so my arm is a little lower than normal. And when I throw my sinker, which is basically a two-seam fastball, I turn the ball over towards the inside, which gives it enough spin so that at the end of when I throw it to the catcher, it'll dart away right at the last second. So it has a lot of movement, and then that's why I get a lot of ground balls.
How did you learn the grip on that?
It was interesting. I didn't throw a sinker all through the minor leagues at all. And then one season, I was getting roughed up a little bit, and I was getting hit around. And the pitching coach was like, hey, we need to figure something out because this isn't working. So we messed around with grips. I kind of was already a low 3/4 slot, so he's like, why don't you try gripping it like a two-seam and then just throwing it and see what happens. And when I first started, I actually threw my sinker like this, which is very unconventional. So it would be like the horseshoes on top, and then I would put my fingers right on the horseshoe. And then for me, I would get the feeling of ripping down on the inside. So it's all about just turning your hand over in order to get that spin. And ever since I started doing that in the minor leagues, I think it was around high A, maybe double A, I just worked my way up every year and eventually turned it into a two-seam grip, and then, you know, that's what I have today.
Well, this is my first time on a bullpen, so kind of show me what you would do.
Okay, so for me, because I have so much movement and so much arm side movement, in order for the ball to stay on plane as much as I can, I actually am as far as I can to the third base side, which gives me a lot of run on my ball in order for it to stay a strike. And then when I actually land, I typically measure about 5.5 steps. So after my first pitch, I'll see where my land foot is, and then I'll actually measure it, and it should be around 5.
I've seen pitchers do that.
Yes.
So is that wide, or is that pretty normal?
For me and for most sinker ballers, it's we have shorter lengths. I'm probably on the shorter side in terms of extension and getting down the mound, but I think you have to shorten up just a little bit in order to get on the inside of the ball.
So without giving away any secrets, when you're coming out of the stretch, what kind of movement does the ball take as it's heading towards the batter?
So specifically for the sinker, because it has so much movement, I have to aim, if it's a right-handed batter, I almost have to aim at him in order for it to end up on the other side of the plate. So my visual is the batter, essentially. So I'm aiming it at the batter, and sometimes if I do it right, and it's a good sinker, the batter will flinch a little bit like it's coming at him, but it's not. It'll dart back into the zone.
So you have a pretty golden defense behind you. What's it like having such a great defense?
It's amazing. As a sinker ball guy, I rely on contact. So for me, it's huge to have the defense behind me ready to go, and that I have confidence in them that they're going to make the plays, and there's 5 Gold Gloves back there. So
that's insane.
It's insane. I've never been a part of a defense that's been this solid all around. So for me, it's massive. And for any pitcher, really, even if you're a strikeout guy, it doesn't matter. To know that there's that many Gold Gloves behind you, that they're going to make the play every single time, or more often than not, it's a huge confidence booster.
Well, TJ, thanks so much for your time. Enjoy the rest of spring training, and good luck this season. That's all for Baseball Basics. We'll see you next time.
And still to come, Nolan Gorman is back in big league camp, soaking it all in.
Gold glovers, platinum glovers, everything, you know, how they go about their business, and really just take in all the information, kind of sit back and just watch and listen. And
stay with us. Going to Major League Camp is a big opportunity for a prospect. It offers time to pick big leaguers' brains and to test your own readiness for elite competition. Nolan Gorman has been to Big League Spring before, and he's used what he's learned to edge closer to a spot in St. Louis. Let's check in on his journey with this week's Farm Report.
I mean, I love to compete. That's, been who I am since I was young, and baseball gives you that opportunity. No matter if you're in the box or in the field, you're always, you have to be in every pitch. And the difference between baseball and a lot of other sports is you can run the clock down in football and stuff like that, but baseball, you got to play all 9 innings, and there's always an opportunity to take the lead or anything can happen in baseball. Being around the big league guys and getting to learn from them and how they go about their business, and being able to see, guys who are multiple-time All-Stars and Gold Glovers, Platinum Glovers, everything, how they go about their business, and really just take in all the information, kind of sit back and just watch and listen, and not talk too much, and just take it all in. Learning areas where you got to be on certain plays and stuff like that, but really you go over that one time and you've got it down. Now going into a game, your first game playing second base, you got to remember all that stuff and also make sure you're still fielding the ground ball. But I think it's gone pretty smooth, and working with Cheo, and it's been unreal. The knowledge that he has and that he's shared, and the effort that he's put into making me a really good defensive player over there at second.
When we return, I'm answering one of your questions. It's Ask Ozzie, and it's up next. It's time for this week's Ask Ozzie. Georgiana in Urbana, Illinois asks, what gives a player more satisfaction? Running the first after a hit or crossing home to score a run? They both are very rewarding, and getting a hit, getting on base is important. But I think scoring the run is probably more important, because that can determine whether you win or lose. When you're scoring from second base, or trying to score for that matter, the guy that's on deck is the guy that's directing you as to whether or not you should slide. Now, as a baseball player, the longer you played, hopefully the more you can read the catcher as to where the ball, if you know the ball is hit to right field, then you've got to see whether he's moving to his left or moving to his right. If he's moving away from you, that determines which way you slide. Thanks for the question, Georgiana. If you want to submit a question, head on over to cardinals.com/insider and click the Ask Ozzie tab. There's more Cardinals Insider after the break, so don't go anywhere. There's nothing like the beginning of a new season. So much is possible with a new year laid out before you. Let's drink in the sights and sounds of this exciting time through this week's Redbird Reel.
Take another night on my tab. All hand claps about
That's it for this episode. You can always catch us online at cardinals.com/insider. Plus, full episodes and past stories are available on YouTube. For everyone involved in the show, I'm Ozzie Smith, and we'll see you right back here next week.